22.3, the score for Alva Svenbeck. And that brings to a close this first rotation. We're going to go back round again. So coming up next, many of your old favourites from the first rotation, but there will be some changes. We're going to see, for example, Ketevan Abolishvili coming into play for the first time. And that will be, for all of these gymnasts, at the end of this rotation, the halfway point of their qualification. Quite an early finish for them, being in the first group, but the order is jumbled up for tomorrow, so we don't start with set A tomorrow in interests of fairness. It's a randomised order. So who for you shone like a star watching at home? Who are you particularly taking within that first rotation? I'll leave you pondering that as we wait for this last score to come in. Now it is something of a feature of the championships in Azerbaijan that happy birthdays are extended to virtually anyone in the building, and it's always a lovely moment. And maybe you're celebrating one at home as well. Consider this for you as well. It's always a particularly bumptious version of happy birthday that they use as well. And they hand out nice little gift bags as well to whoever's birthday it is. Which makes me wish they would hold a competition here in December just for me. These slow motions are a wonderful way to evidence that expressivity that a gymnast like Victoria Onoprienko has. Her score 31.2. And now we go back to the start of this first set of gymnasts. It will be Anna Kudzisvili of Georgia, having scored 27.15 with the hoop. She now performs with the ball. 5 times she was a French junior national champion before competing for Georgia. What a nice close to the routine. very big amplitude into a clean catch, into a nice sequence of front attitude pirouettes. Regrettably earlier, the loss of the apparatus, and Blythe, there was some substantial travel required to get it, and that leads to incrementally higher deductions.
Yes, indeed. But in terms of minimizing the ultimate deduction, if the ball had gone out of bounds, which would be a point, she's only going to lose possibly 0.7 for taking 1 to 2 steps, albeit on her hands and knees, to retrieve it.
Yes, it was very quick thinking. Elena Meysenburg of Luxembourg started with a 21.65 with the ball. A very composed young athlete, considering that she is in her first senior year. Elena Meysenburg performed in Tel Aviv at the Junior European Championships with her younger sister Lily. Very nice moment for them. And École de GRS Luxembourg, where they train. 24.8 the score for Anna Hutsisvili. Now we're going to see her teammate for the first time. Representing Georgia, Ketevan Abolishvili, a gymnast who we're seeing a lot more now on the international circuit, especially in finals. She is the reigning Georgian champion. She's got a very good head on her shoulders, has Ketevan Abolishvili, not just from a mentality point of view, but literally in the way that she holds her head during her turns. It's great dancing training.
there was a real sense of control throughout the routine with this apparatus, and it is with this apparatus that she made her first ever World Challenge Cup final just a couple of weeks ago. It's quite obviously a refined routine.
Yeah, she was 6th with the ball in Portimão, in Portugal. And she's come here evidently a more confident gymnast for that experience. It was a great accomplishment. We've seen her now 3 times at the World Championships. Her debut was in this arena in Baku in 2019. And this is her 4th European Championships. An example of what we were talking about with the head.
Lovely attitude derrière position. And once again with the head, the turning leap. The first one, she brings her head back and there's the ring position. The second one, just a straight turning leap into the back walkover catch.
And much to be gained from the flick back of the head in those leaps.
Yes, indeed. The basic will get her difficulty rated at 0.4. The ring will be 0.6. If she manages to extend her trunk horizontally, that becomes worth 0.8.
Now we've had an inquiry submitted for the ball score of Victoria Onoprienko. So there's one for your Rhythmic Gymnastics European Championship bingo card. Bet you didn't see that coming. First inquiry of the day. Still to come, we have 3 more sets of gymnasts to bring you. Tomorrow will be clubs and ribbon, and then to the finals on Saturday. The individual all-around competition will get us underway, and then the group all-around, which is also a qualification for the group apparatus finals. Sunday will be the apparatus finals for the individuals as well as the groups, and all of that will draw to a close the 39th European Championships of Rhythmic Gymnastics. It all feels very sad to be talking within the first hour or so of the first day on how the competition's going to end, but we are already in the process of discovering who it is that's going to be taking part in those finals on Saturday and Sunday. And what I can tell you so far is that the strongest score with the hoop that we've seen, Margarita Kolosov of Germany. It's a Germany 1 and 2 at the moment, with Daria Varfolomeev in 2nd position, but numbers that can certainly be surmounted. As for the ball, well, a 34.6 from Stiliana Nikolova. That's a big statement mark to get underway. Boriana Kalane, 33.25. That's also a pretty good value for a spot in the final. And we're just waiting now on this Victoria Onoprienko score. Well, we have confirmation there's been no change to the score for Victoria Onoprienko, who that wasn't. But never mind. Now to the gymnast from Luxembourg, Sophie Turpel. Sophie Turpel of Luxembourg. We've just had on our mind an inquiry for a Ukrainian gymnast. Her club has had Ukrainian gymnasts on its mind for a very long time. They took in a group of 6 gymnasts and worked with them. The same club that Lena Messenburg trains at, as she scores 22.7. And that lovely club, we'll come back to that, as 30.5 is the score for Ketevan Arbolishvili. Well, as I was going to say, the lovely decision taken by that club to look after a group of gymnasts from Ukraine has really benefited enormously their training. Here is Mihaela Zhadkova of Slovakia. Performing to the piece of music, the Assassin's Tango. The gymnast from Slovakia, Mihaela Zhadkova. Lots about that was lovely and musical. It's a very difficult thing, isn't it, to take on tango?
It is, and she really milks the drama of the piece for all that it is worth.
Tango is so tricky when you're an individual athlete because, of course, it is a pair dance, and to create a sense of partnership with, I suppose, the apparatus being your dancing partner is not easy, but she does it well. 24.1 for Sophie Turpel. Boriana Kalin of Bulgaria, the hoop champion from the World Games in Alabama. Truly one of the busiest gymnasts in the world in terms of what she puts into a routine, and yet she still finds time for musicality and artistry. When it's controlled, like those beautiful attitude derrière turns, it is spellbinding. At other times, it's so tricky for Boriana Kalin to keep the form when she's got so much difficulty in there. I mean, she's giving it everything.
She's absolutely going for it with the difficulty, just like she always has. And it's been such a pleasure to watch her return to the international stage. She competed at the World Cup in Athens to begin her season and then kind of disappeared. She actually took several weeks off of training, recalibrated, came back, and has looked, so the insiders say, reborn.
25.1 is the score for Mihaela Zhadkova. Consistent start for her. From Slovakia, Nina Juroshkova, who scored 24.1 with the hoop. Had to improvise the finish, unfortunately. Nina Juroshkova of Slovakia. Difficult unsighted trap of the apparatus. She can't see the ball as she's trying to bring it under control there. But you know what? This is a gymnast at 16. She's going in the right direction, no question.
It's very evident from her positions, from her dynamic balances and her toes, that she is quite a serious student of ballet. That really comes out in this routine.
33.45 for Boriana Kalin. That's 2/10 higher than the score she had with the ball. Or the other way round, I should say. Stiliana Nikolova of Bulgaria. She started with a massive 34.6 with the ball. There's a line in a poem about filling the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run. Stiliana Nikolova fills every split second of her routine. She wastes no time.
And one of the great challenges of this code of points is to manage to be artistic, to emote, to tell a story in the midst of doing so much difficulty. And that is what Nikolova does.
You're absolutely right, Blythe. There is no feeling of franticness to her performances, considering how much is going on. 23.8, the score for Nina Juroshkova. And now we have the gymnast from Germany, Margarita Kolosov. Started with 31.35 with the hoop. As ever with Margarita Kolosov, an ambitious display with some trajectory issues which will regrettably cost her.
There are many great things about this performance, notably how smooth she is with the ball as she rolls it over the large body segments. There's this lovely moment as well where she spins the ball on her finger. That actually fulfills one of the requirements that gymnasts have to display with the ball. And there's a lovely relationship between gymnast and apparatus throughout. She makes figure eights with the ball. That too is a requirement.
It's a 32.85 for Stiliana Nikolova, the second highest score we've seen with the apparatus, the best combined score so far. Representing Montenegro, it is Yelizaveta Lugovski. Started with 23.35 with the ball. nice orchestration, that piece of work by Elizaveta Lugovskich of Montenegro. She is an accomplished pianist herself. Unfortunately, she had difficulty right at the start, and what for her probably 9 out of 10 times is a very routine catch.
Yes, competition does strange things sometimes. Here she also has to modify the trajectory. That was the first problem. And then the second problem, of course, the loss of the apparatus. She has to take 2 steps to retrieve it. That will be a 7/10 of a point deduction. It's hard to see, even from this angle, whether the hoop actually went out of bounds. The line would be considered in, but if it did go out of bounds, that would be an immediate 1-point deduction.
30.4 for Margarita Kolosov. That added to her 31.35 with the hoop. The gymnast who secured a bronze medal with the ball at the European Championships last year, Daria Varfolomeev. What is happiness, Blythe? Happiness is a Daria Varfolomeev ball routine. Oh, come along now. She is just super with this apparatus, and this is one of her iconic routines, I think it's safe to say.
It's so much fun to watch, and this is the routine with which she really first drew notice when she began her really astonishing ascent up the ranks last spring.
And this is a crucial element of how she gains difficulty, isn't it?
Yes. The 3 turning split leaps in a row, combined with the chaîné turns before she catches, and a catch not with her hands in the middle of a cartwheel, all of that compounds itself. She gets series bonus, she gets apparatus difficulty bonus. There's just so much in it, and it is very valuable to her performance.
Those of you who are new or newer to watching rhythmic gymnastics, just watch for that in Daria Varfolomeev's routines, those turning split leaps, because as she strings them together, you can just imagine the calculators coming out in the judges' hands, and they're tapping numbers into that because it is a fast and effective way to add numeracy to her score.
As is the roll over 2 or more large body segments. And why not a wonderful penché turn completely at the 180-degree split to cap things off.
24 is the score for Elizaveta Lugovskich. Did get a 0.3 penalty. Representing Latvia, we have Nicola Vasiljeva. certainly in Nikola Vassilieva, a gymnast well schooled in the fundamental balletic craft. We saw something there that we don't see a great deal, a classical arabesque, which she did round into the penché position as we look back at other moments in the routine. Nice to see a little skill variety.
Yes, and she did that in her first routine as well. Obviously, it's one of her calling cards. It's nice to see when gymnasts have signatures, and many of them do.
And the arabesque position, which those of you out there who are ballet dancers will know all too well from having to learn it early on in your balletic studies. It's something that was more common back in previous codes of points. It's not something we see a huge amount now in a turn position. Maybe occasionally in balance work we'll see it. Certainly see plenty of penché positions.
It's important for the gymnasts in balances to freeze them in the correct position for at least 1 second. Many neat little combinations in her routine. The dynamic element with rotation and then the front walkover ending with a balance.
Nice to see this gymnast who came to the last European Championships as the reigning junior national champion, starting to really develop on the international stage. That's the reason for the pause. The 32.85 score is being challenged. We also have, there we go, I was just saying, we're about to get confirmation of that, Margarita Kolosov of Germany, a ball inquiry in progress. So a couple of inquiries, which is always good news for Luigi. Shrinking violet that he is. So we'll return in just a moment as soon as these inquiries have been resolved and the competition can continue in Baku. .27.5 the score for Nikola Vassilieva, and that's a really good number to see her post after starting with a 23.05 with the hoop.
Please welcome Berta Miquel Andorra.
representing Andorra, Berta Mikel. Started with 24.15 with the ball. It's always the cruelest moment when the apparatus escapes you right at the end. She's such a nice gymnast to watch, Berta Mikel. A real commitment to artistry. She appreciates the aesthetics of this sport.
She's clearly quite detail-oriented in all of her work, as evidenced by that beautiful balance.
Yes, that's one of the hallmarks of her work, isn't it, the split position. Now, some housekeeping for you. We catch up with Daria Varfolomeev, who scored 33.65, the second highest score with the ball so far, behind only Stiliana Nikolova. That's a very significant number produced by the German. A first opportunity now for us to see at these championships. Santa Stepulane of Latvia, the 18-year-old from Ugre in the centre of the country, just east of Riga. It's her third European Championships. She's very clever, Santa Stepulane. Her choice of music, Way Down We Go, is not elegant. It's a lovely piece of music, but it's not elegant. And yet, when she performs it, it suddenly is. She makes it balletic. You'd expect it from someone who's as accomplished a musician as she is. She plays the flute and the piano to an excellent standard. But this is exciting work.
It really really is. There's also a playful sense to a lot of her interaction with the apparatus. There's a kind of insouciance as she executes these unsighted catches, as she rolls the ball over her body. It's a thoroughly enjoyable routine to watch, isn't it?
Absolutely right. Very nice young gymnast, this from, as I said earlier, Ugre, about 20 miles east of the city of Riga. She made her World Championship debut in Sofia last year. Decent control and the trap of the apparatus unsighted. And again, that was very confidently done, bursting into some nice choreography afterwards. Very capable gymnast. And I hope you're enjoying all of the action so far, watching wherever you're watching from. This is the first set of 4, and it's the second rotation. We are running, I think, a little behind schedule because of some of these inquiries. And as soon as we've got clarification on those, then we will let you know. You're looking out at the National Gymnastics Arena in Baku, which has had a little makeover for these championships. Very nice job done, actually, with the big screen and the light display around it. Looks excellent. And they're playing their characteristically low-key and understated music in between the routines. I always feel very old when I listen to the music in the National Gymnastics Arena. It makes me realise I have no idea what people listen to nowadays. Berta Mikel scores 22.05. Actually, I never had any idea what people listen to. Santa Stepolane, 26.1. Nice start to her campaign. We'll see her with the clubs and the ribbon tomorrow. She's one of the all-around gymnasts for Latvia. This is the only time we'll see at these championships Elina Sherame of Sweden, just performing with the ball. 16-year-old at her second European Championships. Elina Sherame from Sweden, the gymnast who made the ball final at the Nordic Championships last year. She so nearly won a medal with the hoop as well. Really good to see her taken to the competition floor in Baku. All of the Swedish squad based in the Uppsala area, in the east of the country. And she came to Tel Aviv as the junior all-around national champion, having won 3 apparatus titles. Performed with the hoop and the ball only in Tel Aviv. So we're still waiting to see her at European Championship level from an all-around perspective. But she is very new to the senior circuit. It was actually at the Nordic Championships last year that she made her senior international debut, not long before the Tel Aviv European Championships. She's got a very good reputation for her maturity, for the way that she already at 16 looks after younger gymnasts and gives them sage counsel. Having started with a score of 30.55 with the ball, we now see Polina Kadika of Ukraine with the hoop. Fingertips, only fingertips. Elite sports is so tough. It is always so marginal, and that's what we just saw.
It can be a bit of a reality check because most of the time gymnasts manage to make this look so effortless, and it's a reminder to us that it is not. Unfortunately, that is going to probably cost her a point. She has to take about 3 steps to recover it, and that is the penalty. But credit to her, because it's a huge piece of music, and it takes a lot of presence to be able to carry it off. She does have that presence.
The deductions for taking steps to retrieve a dropped apparatus have increased in the most recent change to the code of points. A couple of extra tenths added. So there's more jeopardy now in losing the apparatus, even if you don't move. That is a 0.5 deduction. That's gone up by a couple of tenths from what it was in the previous code. But you're quite right, Blythe, in what you say about her sense of performance. Stylish athlete, the 17-year-old. We're working our way to the close of this first set. Thanks for your company. I hope you're enjoying it so far. There will be a short break before the start of the next set of competitors, which is due to begin at 3 p.m. local time in Baku. It's now just coming up to 2 p.m. We still have representatives from Sweden and Ukraine to perform in this group, and the outcome of those inquiries as well to bring you. Those will be scrutinised at the close of the session. 24.2 the score for Elina Shereme. And 30.5 for Polina Karika. Alva Svenbeck of Sweden started with 22.3 with the hoop. Slightly tricky routine there for Alva Svenbeck of Sweden. We'll see her at her best tomorrow. She won 2 medals at the Nordic Championships with the clubs and the ribbon, so it'll be exciting to see her bring those routines to the European Championships tomorrow.
This was where the real problem occurred, the loss of the apparatus. Fortunately for her, she doesn't have to take any steps to retrieve it, so she'll only lose half a point. You can always tell when you're watching an Alva Svenbeck exercise. There's been real thought put into her skill selection.
To the last performance of this first set of gymnasts. Victoria Onoprienko of Ukraine started with 31.2 with the ball. Well, you get lots of Carmens used by Ukrainian rhythmic gymnastics, but Victoria Onoprienko with that displays real cleverness and technical skill. It is lovely choreographically, the way the hoop becomes the cape at times, the clear understanding of bullfighting visual imagery. It works.
And with the World Championships coming up in Spain, we are starting to see a few more Spanish-themed routines here and there popping up. This is one that will play very, very well with the crowds there, as it does here. Nice position in her turning split leaps as well. The ring position well established. Also, her trunk going back. She is going for the 0.8 difficulty on those 3 elements, plus the series bonus, plus what she does with the hoop during the elements, which turns them into body difficulties. There's a lot to take in, and it's lovely.
.45 the score for Alva Svenbeck. 45.75 her all-around total. The top 24 will make it through into the all-around final. Only 2 gymnasts per nation able to do the all-around. 32.85 remains the score for Boriana Kalén, and also 30.4 remains the score for Margarita Kolosov. So we now just have to wait for this last number to come in, which will be for Victoria Onoprienko. We also have a team competition going on, and more on that later. Don't want to throw 1,000,001 numbers at you, because there's a lot to keep tabs on in this first day of competition. And that is 33.65 for Victoria Onoprienko, the best score that we've seen so far with the hoop. 0.2 better than Boriana Kalén. And all of that brings to a close this first set of gymnasts, the first of 4 sets. And we will return at just before 3 p.m. local time. That's in around about 50 minutes or so. There'll be more coverage from the National Gymnastics Arena in Baku, Azerbaijan. And we'll bring you set B. Until then, it's goodbye.